And the best way for any person to call to his own tradition or religion is by acting upon it. And I should share with you here and frankly say, honestly, Muslims did not present the best example of Islam, and this is a fact that we admit before you speak about it. Non-Muslims understood that wine is forbidden in Islam. I was in Sweden, I lived there for 5 years, and I know that the Swedish people never colonized the Islamic world. There was never any conflict between Muslims, for example, in the Middle East or in other parts of the Islamic world, and people of Sweden. And people in Sweden told me stories of their encounters with Muslims. And some Muslims told me stories of their encounters with Swedish people. They had nothing against Islam. They saw a person, what are you? I'm a Muslim, drinking wine. Isn't wine forbidden in your religion? Oh yeah, but I don't know. These are encounters. People told me that when they traveled to Sweden in the 50s, 60s, they told me Swedish people didn't know how to lie. They learned lying from Muslims. And from Latin Americans. Also not only from Muslims. Not to label Muslims alone. Tell you why? Because Muslims mainly fled from the Islamic world either as asylum seekers or under humanitarian conditions or seeking jobs, taking money. Did not go in order to convey the message. So they originally weren't the best examples. And I give you really my word that if Muslims behaved well when coming to countries like Sweden, for example, or Norway or Finland, the people of these lands should have embraced Islam, should have witnessed mass conversions. We did not represent Islam in our behavior, in our daily life. We rather follow our own interests, even when it clashes with our teachings. And this is very wrong. It's our job to raise the level of morals within our communities. But to understand the political reaction against the society, we need to go to the roots. That these Muslims originally don't treat well their children or their wives or their husbands or their parents. What do you expect from a young man who is not grateful to his parent, who does not respect his father or his mother originally? Do you expect him to go and respect the society or his neighbor later on? That's a major problem here, a problem of ethics, of behavior, which we need to work on, all of us together, I believe, in the Muslim communities and in other communities, in other traditions. However, brothers and sisters, coming to talk about the obligations of Muslims here, it's not only about treating well your neighbors, it's not only about smiling at others. You're part of these societies. You moved here, you are parts of these societies. One question I was asked in Sweden by some newspapers, are Muslims allowed to evade taxes? They want fatwas, so they justify to themselves something to save money. And of course everyone is interested in money. But we tell people who are interested in money, you are slaves of money. And the Prophet of Islam says in a beautiful sound statement, تعس عبد الدينار, تعس عبد الدرهم, تعس عبد الخميصة, تعس وانتكس وإذا شيك فلانتقش. A person who is a slave of gold, a slave of silver, a slave of a dress, may he be under distress, and if a thorn sticks in his finger, may he not recover from it. Because he's a servant, he's a slave of gold and silver. We're a slave of great principles, slaves of God. We serve God and His instructions on the faith of the earth. Now, when it comes to a conflicting point between whether to obey God or even general rules of ethics or to pile up gold, now we have to follow ethics, religion, morality. Imagine that question came as told, of course it's haram to disobey the law of any country where you live. It's forbidden. You pay taxes like other citizens because you're enjoying the benefits of the system like others. Universities, for example, for free, or health care system, or whatever. You're like any other citizen of this country. When Muslims came here, and this is my opinion, which I tell them, you came here, choosing to live here, you need to obey the laws of these countries. You need to abide by the regulations. Like in our countries, most of us don't like traffic lights. When driving. And sometimes really, you get it red when the street is very empty. And you say, what's the point? What's the point in having a traffic light now, midnight, and the street is empty and you have to stand waiting there for probably 2 minutes sometimes?